Hi, congratulations.
Thank you.
For the nomination.
Thank you.
And you got back your shape already. So,
Right.
how much weight did you get and lose?
A lot.
A lot.
We didn't do it based on weight. We did it just on look. I had to find a pivot point where I could play him younger, and then older.
Wow.
With the use as well of padding and the wonderful artistry of the prosthetic and makeup artists, Greg Canham and Chris Gallagher, but then that we would have a middle ground where it could just be me.
You lost your weight in the machinist and the fighter, and got your weight in the American Hustle and this movie. So don't you worry about your heart?
Yes. I do. I get it. I've started to be responsible now that I'm 44. I've said, yeah, I'm not invincible. I just need to start being cautious.
Wow, are you going to continue this kind of transformation?
No. My family, my daughter has told me no, and she is a very strong-minded lady.
Your family is very worried about that.
Yes.
Okay. So, but how did you want to be a Dick Cheney, or who you want to be a Dick Cheney? You or Mr. Mackey?
He saw it long before I did. He had written Cheney. He had me in mind for it without telling me. He came to see me about Cheney. I assumed it was for a supporting role. I didn't imagine it would be for Cheney. I thought he was crazy for thinking that I could play Cheney, but he's crazy like a fox because, hey, look, I feel like, I hope you agree, that we really managed to capture the essence. It wasn't just me. It was Adam's direction. It was with Greg Canham and Chris Gallagher as well, the makeup artists. There's a whole team that make this work. But he saw it when I absolutely couldn't see it at all. But I'm very glad that he did because it was a challenge that I thought was insurmountable, but one that hopefully we got close to achieving.
What kind of person, do you think, do you find Dick Cheney?
An incredibly complex one. Even with the 2 hours that we have in the film, there's an awful lot that's been left on the cutting room floor, which to me, as we filmed it, were absolutely essential scenes. Adam felt the same way, but that's the nature of film. He's somebody who's not entirely villain. He's has wonderful attributes to him. And I think that's a very important thing for people to understand, that monsters don't always come at you with swastikas carved in their forehead like Charles Manson. Sometimes they arrive in polo shirts and slacks, He's a brilliant man. He understands the working of government. And I think one thing that I insisted on with Adam was that I would be completely subjective, and he would give me an opportunity to really sell Cheney's side of the argument. And I do think he's absolutely sincere in his belief that what he did and does is right and patriotic. And that can mean so many different things, being patriotic. But to this day, he has no regrets whatsoever. He says he would do it all again in a minute.
Dick Cheney always kind of twisted his mouth. You took his mannerism.
Right.
And what is your interpretation of why he, does it? Psychologically.
Well, we all have lots of mannerisms that we fall back on, and that they can become something of a defense. They can be all sorts of things, but certainly with him, it's absolutely essential. It's a tell on him in terms of if we're going to talk poker, and you can't play Cheney without that. But it had to become something that I adopted myself for months on end, so that it became very natural to me. I couldn't avoid speaking that way.
Thank you so much.
What do you say? I want you to be my VP. The vice presidency is mostly a symbolic job. However, if we were to come to a different understanding, I can handle mundane jobs like overseeing military, energy, foreign policy. I like that.
アメリカ史上最強の副大統領
This isn't something that a vice president really does, is it?
No. It is now.
バイス